James is having some more Tortilla Pockets and lots of pulp orange juice. I'm going to talk about how to write best-selling fiction for the last time. Moonraker, Countdown to Christmas, and For Your Eyes Only. And we'll see how it goes from there, because that's quite a lot of stuff to go through. So,
just warning you,
just in case.
if there's a little bit of time, we'll be looking at the moon. Well, we kind of figuratively speaking, because it's more like in the morning time when it's well, it's in opposition to the sun.
So I will be talking about this, but I'm just going to mention I will be reviewing Christmas movies soon. But I brought this one out because I wanted to show that even though this is a Hallmark movie, it's actually better than this For Your Eyes Only. I didn't like For Your Eyes Only. I liked Moonraker, which I didn't expect to, because I'm like, at first, come on, James Bond going into outer space. That's a little much.
It's an outer space kind of day, really.
But then when, especially the last line, "Take me around the world again."
Oh man,
that was awesome.
Yeah.
So
I mean, a very corny sort of way. Yeah.
The Bond babe in this one, she was actually not bad. In
terms of acting,
she was hot. Yeah, but they're all hot. Yeah, but in terms of acting, right? Yeah. And plus, there wasn't really only one Bond babe in this, because this was about well, I don't want to give it away. Yeah. So there's lots and lots of Bond babes and handsome men in this. So honestly, and in
plus
this
Jaws, I don't think you're counting Jaws as a handsome guy.
No, I am not.
I don't know. Yeah, he is in this one.
Yeah, he is.
Poor fella.
Yeah.
I hope he's still alive. I don't think he is.
So, anyway, For Your Eyes Only. Honestly, both of these movies, they jumped around a little bit much, you know, trying to show us some fancy scenery from all sorts of places, which just show us some fancy scenery in one place or whatever.
I don't think they did it that much in the original.
It's kind of stupid, but this one
was
all over the place.
Thunderball is kind of like in the, I wouldn't say the Caribbean. Yeah, the Caribbean, kind of like Ian Fleming, the guy who wrote the books. I think had a fancy schmancy place or stuff like that. Didn't live to enjoy it that long. He died quite young.
And honestly, I didn't really understand why they were like, sometimes there's like something that lets you go, oh, okay, well that's why they're there now. Well, I didn't really get that feeling in this one. It was just all over the place.
Directorial problem, and maybe a script problem too.
I don't know. But anyway, when I'm watching this, there was one point in this movie where he's talking about the 0 G's or whatever, and he says, where's the 70-year-old when you need one? And I'm looking at him thinking, you're looking kind of old now, man. Like, really. And especially after just watching this one last. Then this one, I was watching him rock climbing, and I'm like, oh man, don't make him do that. He's too old for this stuff now. And
he was getting up there, buddy.
Yeah, he was. And honestly, so and really the rock climbing scene, that was the only good scene of the movie. It was the only thing I liked in this movie. When he used his shoelaces, oh my gosh, that was good. And
was that in Greece then? Athos, that monastery or something like that, where he's doing the rock climbing? I don't know. I can remember there was one scene.
I don't know. I don't really pay that close attention, honestly. It's just best-selling fiction. Yeah. Don't really care. And I really didn't care very much for this movie, so I don't know. They were all over the place. But when I was looking at him tying the shoelaces around, I was thinking, wow, he's doing it right, because I remember that from taking the arborist training. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. So that impressed me. But bottom of the stack, and that's against these ones. And I will talk about this later. I just brought it out to show just how bottom of the stack I felt that one was. Because, I mean, you don't expect much from Hallmark. You shouldn't, right? It's, I mean, if you watch the Hallmark movies and you keep in mind the rules that this guy gives for writing best-selling fiction, what to do and not to do, then you go, oh, that's how this Hallmark person, how this person screwed up here, or whatever. It's kind of interesting to watch it that way. So here's some notes from the last part of how to write best-selling fiction. Getting published. Put together a proposal as a new author. Send in a completed manuscript. New authors often need an agent. The big publishers require them. Unless you meet an editor at a conference and are invited to send in a proposal. A proposal contains a query, a one-page sales pitch, commercial potential, synopsis, and some sample chapters. Send it to the right person by name. Non-fiction proposals need a chapter outline. Fiction don't. Show the reader you know what you're doing by grabbing them in the query, because you want to. When they're reading your query is going to be the first thing they read, and they want you to know. They want to know that you can grab the reader, so you want to grab them as a reader in that. So include writing credits. Like, I've completed the course How to Write Best-Selling Fiction as offered by The Great Courses. He offered that as one of the things you could put in. If you have a web presence, mention it. The majority of proposals are sent by email now. You also send proposals to agents. How do you get an agent? Writers' conference. Impress them with your pitch. Research backgrounds on agents. Having no agent is better than a bad one, he says. Guide to literary agents, put out by Writer's Digest books. Avoid agents who have reading fees or any other fees before you get the deal. Look professional, have industry knowledge, don't waste their time. Common courtesy goes a long way. Don't call unless you're invited to. Getting an agent validates you. They get 15% of your advance and the royalties you get from sales. A written arrangement protects you and the agent. Try to negotiate a split. So the publisher's money doesn't all go through the agent, because some agents have been known to embezzle, or their accountants or whatever. So
have some been known not to?
And he says, the agents, they probably won't like it because it's a trust thing, right? And frankly, it shows you that you don't really trust them to give you.
Well, what they should do is set up an organization where they actually have some standards.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can't trust them. It's their own fault.
You can get published without an agent, but not one of the big five. If you land a contract without an agent, an intellectual property lawyer can help you. In the contract, you'll know rights you're granting, duties both you and the publisher owe each other, how much you're going to get paid. Most new authors have no leverage. The publisher will usually get rights for your life plus 70 years. U.S. copyright law has a provision that an author can terminate an agreement within a 5-year period beginning 35 years after publication or 40 years after the grant of rights, whichever comes first. When your book is no longer selling much, you want to get the rights back to sell it yourself through an out-of-print clause. MysteryWriters.org has a good out-of-print clause. As a new writer...
Can I just interject?
Yep.
Well, the whole thing about patent laws and copyright and stuff like that is it's supposed to encourage innovation and all that sort of stuff. Who ends up with the rights?
Yeah.
People have no creativity at all. That's capitalism for you, folks.
As a new writer, you need to meet deadlines. Non-competition should be time limited. Specify genre and length of work. Bookstores don't want to stop competing titles at the same time, which I didn't know. So that's interesting to learn. How will you be paid? Percentage of retail or net? There's a big difference, he says. Any advance needs to be earned back before royalties are paid out. The Writer's Legal Companion is a good book to read. Self-publishing. 99% of the time, publishers shunned self-publishers, publishing writers in the past. Once had a tough time making money and getting published. There are thousands of writers that make a good living self-publishing, but they follow the 5 golden rules. You must think like a publisher, Do market analysis. Write the best books each time, because they're your number one marketing thing, is your book, right? If your book's bad, you might just lose your writers. So even if you had a good book in the past, develop and work a marketing plan and then repeat the pattern. Self-publishing cons. It's all on you. You can't get in Walmart or other big box stores to sell your book. Pros, a much greater royalty comes to you monthly instead of every 6 months like a traditional publisher. You can't have your contract dropped. You keep the rights to your books. You can hyperlink, put in hyperlinks in back matter. I don't know anything about that, so you'd have to look that up. Can you put out at least one book a year? Some publishers push for 2 books a year now. So that's a self-publishing con, perhaps, if you write slowly. Nifty 350 principle. And he changed it along to 250, so I guess you could change it to however you want. But before he does anything else in the morning, he writes 350 words of his daily quota. That's before he grabs a coffee, anything. He makes sure he gets that. Don't edit, spell check, or correct until your 350 words are done. Just write. Flow along. You'll train your brain to get up and add them. Once you've written 350 words, you'll likely keep going from there. Checklist. Writing, editing, cover design will often cost you $500 for a cover, for if you're doing self-publishing thing. Marketing, copy. What describes your book online? Formatting, and I kind of lost it there. See the creativepen.com. Scrivener has an option for making an ebook version. You want a PDF of your book. Kindle offers print on demand. Self-publishing is a volume business. There's no way to predict how much you'll make. Your overhead costs are next to zero, so keep at it. Distributing your work. Set up accounts with online distributors. Smashwords is one of the oldest companies. KDP.amazon.com. I don't know what that. Anyway, walks you through the process. Pricing your ebook. $2.99, $3.99, $4.99 are most popular. You can list your book for free for 5 days to market it. What can readers get from you that you can only give them? Brand yourself. Distinguish design and of covers between different genres, because all your books will be listed together in Kindle. So you want people to be able to see, oh, this is one of his sci-fi books, or this is one of, if you're writing different genres. Only publish books you're excited about. Know what fees are reasonable for what you need, like your cover design. Keep an eye on your finances. Take some action daily as a self-publisher. Marketing and stress relief. Newspaper advertising is dead. Most important marketing tool you have is your writing. The first page sells the book, the last one, the next. Word of mouth from blog posts sell readers on most new books. But blog posts, he says, are like writing blog posts is not a good investment of your time. So. But if you like, I guess that's people recommend different books, like I do. Like I'm recommending videos to watch and whatever, and then that encourages people to read your book more if you've been recommended on blog posts. So that's what I'm meaning there. Oh dear, now I've lost what I was doing. Okay, find new customers and sell more to existing customers. So the find new customers, that's discoverability, book cover description, author bio, be relevant. Most likely they'll sample a few pages and add a tagline, he said. So something, just some short little line that's going to excite them into buying your book, because they're probably not, if they don't know who you are, then they're not going to, they're going to go by things like the book cover and the description and not much more, right? So nurture your existing customers. The publisher will likely change your title if you get a publisher. Just be aware of that. Try to claim the domain name for your name. Keep your site simple and easy to navigate. Social media is not a successful way to sell books. Everything you put out on social media is likely there forever. Provide good content. Use only 10% of time to sell something. Blogging has a high degree of investment in time with little reward. You have to work a minimum of 3 days a week blogging. You can put comments into popular blogs. When the book comes out, you might convince the popular blogger to give you a blog spot. Podcast is more time intensive. And he says a YouTube channel is good, but then you have to have something that people actually want to watch, because I might have one person watch this video today. I don't think that's really going to market anything I do really well. So, you can do a blog tour, he said. You pay for it with little return. Deal promo sites with a subscriber base might be a good investment. You pay a few for new readers. What? I don't know. My writing's messy. Yeah, that's probably what I had. BookBub is expensive, but you get millions of new readers. Well, potential. Book Gorilla, Amazon marketing services, AMS ads to find YouTube videos to help you. Book trailers don't work for sales. If you break even with this type of advertising, that's a bonus. Have a sign up form on your website. Some authors offer a free book for signing up. Bookfunnel.com, some constant content. What? Some authors send out newsletters or simple text. Mail out 1 per month maximum. Lecture 24, the mental gain of writing. Fight your fear by writing. A lot of people are afraid of writing, and that's why they end up getting writer's block. And well, he lists a bunch of reasons you get writer's block, but anyway, I had writer's block for writing poetry, and I was like, oh no, what happened? Maybe it's gone. And so I decided, okay, well maybe I'll start doing some artwork. And that wasn't working out. It worked out well last winter. And then I decided, well, I have this how to write best-selling fiction thing. I'll start writing a best-selling fiction novel. So then that seems to be, I'm going along really well writing on that. So honestly, like he says, just write. But if, like, well, maybe it's a bit different for me because it's poetry and I'm having to actually worry about rhythm and rhyme. And it's so...
I think the main reason with the poetry is we haven't been out hiking. We haven't had
I haven't had that inspiration.
So
You're right.
I wouldn't think of it as being...
You're right, because today I saw some flowers blooming. I came back and I wrote a poem. And so I think that is it. But anyway, so I think it's a little bit different. I don't think you should I don't believe in writing when you have nothing to say, but as I don't really care about best-selling fiction novels, I think whatever. So like last winter I was thinking, well, I'll do some other kind of art to keep my brain thinking artistically and give it an outlet, but don't worry about the other things so much. And now I'm thinking, okay, best-selling fiction. My brain still has that outlet, that creative outlet, but there's no pressure. I don't feel any pressure whatsoever because I don't care about it. I'm just writing this stuff. So anyway, that's what I would say to do. Just verge off in a different direction, a different creative direction for a little while and see if that helps. And maybe it is just the inspiration, like James said with we haven't been out hiking. And I think maybe that's right, because as soon as I saw flowers, boom, wrote a poem. It's not a very good poem, but whatever, it's something. Have you hit a wall at the 30,000 word mark, he says. That's common, I guess. Instead of writing the next scene...
Call it quits there.
Yeah, I guess you wrote a novella.
Yeah.
Instead
Don't just write to fill out a form, please.
Instead of writing the next scene, jump ahead and work backwards, he says. Like he has this signpost method, if you've been listening to what I've been talking about in the past few days. And so you know where you're going. So he says, just jump ahead to another part and write that, and then, work your way backwards to where you are, and you'll get to the end that way or whatever. If you don't feel joy and excitement while writing, you're wasting good white paper. Don't compare yourself to other writers. Be grateful for what you have. Focus on your work, what you can control. You can't control readers, award boards, etc. coffeetivity.com to have coffee house sounds at your house, because I guess a lot of people like the coffee house sounds for writing, so they
Weird.
yeah.
A lot of people do write in coffee houses
Yeah.
or restaurants and stuff like that. You'll see them all the time. Maybe they're just pretending. I don't know.
I don't know. He says it works for him, so he just gets that at home, and it works out. Try writing the sound of rain to relieve stress, for example. And he dephonic.com, I guess has a bunch of different nature sounds and stuff. He likes using movie soundtracks to trigger different emotions
Weird.
for writing.
Yeah,
It works
that
for
would
him.
drive me nuts.
I think it would drive me nuts too, but it works for him. So there's different tips that he has, and I found it really interesting. I would recommend How to Write Best-Selling Fiction. I don't know, I guess you can follow along and see how my best-selling fiction novel is coming along. I don't know if I'll even finish it, but so far I'm going great guns at it. It seems to be working out. James is liking what I'm reading, or what I'm
following.
reading to him,
Liking
what
it
I
now.
write. So yeah, that's it. I guess, James, you can go on with that. I'll let you know how much time you have.
10 minutes?
I don't know. Yeah, almost 7 or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's oftentimes, I guess, around this time of year, I start thinking about Pauline and my anniversary, which is the 8th of November. That's when we first had our first date. And how do I remember? It was a total lunar eclipse. November the 8th, 2003. You can check it out. Fact is, here's a pretty good book. This was published, I think, in maybe 1997. Let's see, 1990. Oh man, it's off by 1 year. Oh. Anyway, 1998. But it is something like the 19th edition. 19th edition. First edition goes back to, I don't know. I don't think it's quite 100 years. First appeared in 1910. So it wasn't 100 years from then. Hopefully they're still putting it out. It's a pretty good thing. It's Star Atlas and reference handbook. And so it actually has a little list of eclipses sometime around 1999, so, or 1998, I should say. Stuff like that. Let's see if they actually have a record of eclipses here. Eclipses. It's got some glossary in there. Just click by that. Eclipses.
How's the stars looking?
Pretty good. Pretty good. It's a pretty nice atlas. I'm semi-recommending it.
How's We Reach the
better
Moon?
Star maps. What was that?
How's this one?
It's pretty good too. It's put out in 1969 by the New York Times. You can see there. So it was current. That's when they reached the moon. I believe it was the 16th of July. I was right there on the moon. No, I was actually picking raspberries at that point in time. So I didn't even see. I think pretty well anyone who had a TV
Was watching
saw
it, yeah,
but
but you didn't get to.
picking raspberries. And the funny thing is, I had some relatives. Some of them are still around, but they were living up at that point in time, 69. They were living in the Fraser Valley Canyon, not in the Fraser Valley, Fraser Valley Canyon. Hardly anyone lives in there because it's just like, it's almost like cliffs going down in Fraser Valley. It's I don't know how they do it. They've got but back then they had a highway on one side, railway on the other side. They lived on the railway side. So it was way off in the boonies. We drove there, and to get across Fraser Valley, we went on a ferry. It's not the kind you're thinking of. It was an aerial ferry. So you got the car and you just went on.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was scary. Too interesting. And then you got on a horrible road. It's one of the most scariest things. We're on a switchbacks going over a creek that was kind of getting ready to fall into the Fraser Valley. And we had a microbus, and I can remember coming out of there the last time. I never wanted to go back. We just started to slip back on a switchback. You know, like we would have just gone in the creek. So, and then it would have been all over. But yeah, my relatives thought it was the end of the world was coming. That Vancouver was going to be part of a nuclear holocaust, and of course they'd survive and all this sort of stuff, and that would bring on the millennium, and Jesus would rule over the world and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, they were